Ed O'Bannon, who hadn't played for a long time, but was
I
a
mean,
former UCLA
yeah,
basketball
mid
player.
'90s UCLA teams.
He files a lawsuit, and basically he says, "Hey, I'm playing this video game, and the character in the video game looks like me, acts like
Wearing
me,
the same number as me.
same number,
Mm-hmm.
shoots the same way he does. I mean, it's eerily similar to him." And he's like, I should be compensated for this
Yeah.
because those video game people were making, as you know, a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
So this goes all the way into the U.S. District Court. And in 2014, the district court rules that it's unreasonable, right? It's unreasonable that these athletes probably should be compensated in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that happens. We kind of fast forward several years. We get into 2021, and a guy by the name of Sean Alston sues the NCAA. And this one's a little bit more recognizable for us because it is a lawsuit that kind of defined what NIL is, right?
Mhm.
So it really got into the name, image, and likeness of these players. And basically this one went all the way to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 in favor of the athletes against the NCAA, saying that these athletes really aren't the amateurs that you're saying they are.
Yeah, and I mean that's the moment. Like in 2021, when that decision comes down from the Supreme Court, that's the tide shift. That's sort of the line of demarcation and the line in the sand for this new era of NCAA sports that we're currently embarking on. And I think the early thought was, oh boy, this is gonna be really interesting. And I think for the first year and change, it was, because there was not a whole lot of policing going on. How could you? It was all so new.
So that's a great point, because what we think name, image, and likeness should be is really nothing like it is right now, right?
Yeah.
So it was just supposed to be, hey, if some company is out there and they're monetizing on you and your brand, you should, in theory, get a piece of that. And that's not what happened. I mean, it really is now a, wild, wild west of, basically all these universities out there with boosters and large alumni kind of handpicking, 5-star recruits and different things to try and lure them to their program very specifically from a monetary standpoint, right?
Yeah. And I think when I looked back and was doing the research to try and see, well, what has changed? Well, the nature of what it means to be an amateur athlete has changed immensely. And you think back, I picked a year, 1960. Okay, how much revenue was the NCAA bringing in 1960? They don't have huge TV contracts. There's not really, you're not truly going to be a professional football player. You're not going to that's not the route that a lot of people were taking. It was there, but it's not what it is today. They're not billion-dollar industries. And in 1960, the NCAA net about $1 million. In 2020, $1 billion. And
a lot of money.
And while the value of the scholarship increased, it did not increase at that same rate.
Yeah, and once again, on paper, it makes sense, right? That we're moving in this direction.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of value to what these athletes bring a school, right? Like, how many Johnny football jerseys did Texas A&M sell?
Oh, yeah. And the jersey sales, I mean, the NCAA and schools have been making a killing on, if I just don't put their name on the back of it, it can be anybody.
Yeah, but the number. Yeah, exactly. I think the other interesting thing here is, and we touched about it very briefly, is the boosters and the alumni and the amount of dollars that they bring in outside of the university. So if you kind of look at the process here, you get into this NIL deal, and then they have this thing called the collective, right?
Yeah.
You and I were chatting briefly about this before we started. What the collective is to me is it's kind of an agent between the school and the athlete, right? And so you got to have something in there, because there's so much stuff that's not disclosed in NIL deals, right?
Yeah.
So there's so much there that we don't know, and there's got to be something there that kind of protects the student athlete, right? And so you have these collective models that basically kind of, all right, well, here's what the athlete's going to be responsible for, and here's an idea of what they're going to get compensated on, and so on and so forth. But because these are private deals, there's always a possibility of somebody getting taken advantage of, and by somebody, I mean the athlete.